I just, I mean, and you know what Whedon is doing here, and it's like, finally you're watching the characters really cut loose. No one's trying to kill them in this moment. Nobody's angry at anybody at this moment, and they're being playful and having a good time together. And it's this kind of stuff that makes people really gravitate towards Whedon's work. It's this sense of character and community, and I like this girl. I hope she interacts with that guy and this girl, and they go on an adventure. And it's like that whole idea of a colorful ensemble that has countless permutations for fun and drama and tragedy and comedy. It's great. It's just great.
And so now he's sort of explaining her backstory. It's interesting again because I think this is a pre-TiVo essentially show, a pre-serialized, like fully serialized shows, because this scene in part is, I think, designed to catch the audience, including the audience who's never seen the show before or don't necessarily remember what they saw last week in great detail, like to fill them back in a little bit on backstory.
Yep, I love Wash. Yeah. Who's flying this? We're both. You make a very good point, but I'm just waiting for Wash's joke. He's so funny. He is real. I mean, they're all funny in their own way, but I really do appreciate Wash's enthusiastically goofy sense of humor.
Yeah.
This was originally this was written to be the third episode, and it actually aired. This is the third episode, and it aired as the second episode on September 27th, 2002. And it's a great episode if you want to maybe bring some new viewers in. Again, I will speak for both of us when I say no freaking way should Fox have done what they did to this series.
Right.
However, if you're trying to lay a couple of breadcrumbs for genre fans, for sci-fi fans, this is a good episode because it's got a lot of fun. It's got some really good action.
And scary in moments.
Yep, and it drops just enough, like what we call arc stuff or serial stuff that, does connect to other episodes.
Yeah.
And, you touched on it, Stephen. At this point in TV drama in the 2000s, it was almost as if producers were still afraid to go full serialized.
Oh, absolutely.
They were, and it's like you could almost see you could see them having meetings where they're like, okay, 8% of your episode references future episodes or past episodes. We want that down to 4%. You could actually see it, like, the creators trying to build a bigger mythology and build a bigger world, and because studio or TV executives at that point were so enmeshed in the whole Love Boat, Fantasy Island, Magnum PI, TJ Hooker. None of those shows had any connective tissue to the other episodes.
It made a lot of sense, in any era prior to this one, because you couldn't catch back up. And the worry from a business point of view is that you're only going to lose audience and you're never going to gain audience, because everybody, if they miss an episode, they're going to maybe stop watching, but nobody's going to be able to come in
exactly.
and start.
And then you get into syndication, and if you want to syndicate Love Boat, you could put those episodes in any order. It doesn't matter what episode Love Boat is in. But if you were to serialize something like The Expanse or Battlestar Galactica even, it wouldn't work. It would not be smart. And I'm really impressed.
Yeah. One of the few shows that I remember having a very definite sort of at least season-long arc before this was, weirdly enough, was Seinfeld, which had the whole season 4 arc about them making the show about nothing. And, each episode sort of obviously had to stand alone on its own, but there was also this long-term arc over the course of that whole season about them trying to make this television show. And within the show itself, they were making this show and then talking to these executives and having some of the same
arguments. No, you're right.
They must have had with their executives about trying to serialize the show.
Yeah. And you know why? Obviously, you could see any other sitcom producer say Night Court or Cheers. They're saying, let's make our entire 4th season kind of an arc. It has like a 3-act structure, and you kind of do have to keep up. And most TV executives would say, good God, no, get out of my office. But Seinfeld, by that point, they're like, yes, sir, whatever you want to do, sir, that's cool. We'll do part 4. Could be, you want it to be an interlocked movie? Fine.
I mean, in a sense, though, that was kind of the season that really brought them to, like, the huge mainstream success. I don't know that they had that power then. I think honestly, especially for the first couple seasons of that show, like the NBC was just kind of like, all right, this is our kind of weird little duck show. Let's just kind of let them do their thing and see what happens. And they got lucky. I don't think anybody expected that show to be successful at any point. So anyway, let's get back to talking about this show, which nobody also expected to be successful, and then they made sure that it wasn't.
Yep. And it is kind of a bittersweet story because on one hand, the show did not get the chance it deserved. It showed up at the wrong time. If it had showed up 5-7 years later, it could have been a much bigger hit. And the studio shanghaied it. Like your own bosses, torpedo your work. You work for 7-8 months to make something, and then your own bosses kill it. It's like, but the silver lining is we still got 14 great episodes. We still got a movie out of it, and that's not nothing. That's a lot. It's good art that we got out of it. Divorced from all the bullshit that happened back then, we still got a great pilot, 13 episodes, and a damn good movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know. There's a way in which almost just the familiarity of being able to just sit and watch the entire series in a week or two is interesting.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think you meant night or two.
I mean, you could, I guess, if you wanted to watch 7 hours a night, but
I watched the entire run of Firefly for these episodes.
Those of us
who
have lives and children have to space it out over a little bit.
I have a very busy life, a very busy and miserable life. Thank you. But no, I do not.
All right, so wait. I got to point of science. We got lights in the helmets. We got lights shining in their eyes because, of course, we do.
Mm-hmm. And what's going on here, Stephen? What's the plot, essentially? They've come across a ghost ship, and Mal and his crew are looking for survivors and or salvage.
Well, they're kind of hoping there aren't survivors, I think, because they're going to want to
right
for themselves, whatever.
And it's this worth noting that this episode written and directed by Tim Minear, who is, in my opinion,
wait, hold on. Was that an
Red Balloon
reference? Mm-hmm. Do you think it was like a deliberate reference?
No, but it is odd that there's a red balloon just sitting there in this spaceship.
That's why I don't know. I don't know if Minear or Joss Whedon are like well-known Stephen King fans or something, but that just felt too obvious to me.
To me, it was meant to be one of those hints like, and the coffee was still warm. That's what it's meant to be, because if there's still helium in that balloon, then it must not have been there that long, right? So,
right.
So to me, it's just a clue of someone's been here recently, but it is creepy, and maybe it is an it reference. What the hell do I know? But I mean, just having a red.
So
it's funny that you go directly to it when there's a world famous short film called The Red Balloon from that predates it by like 40 years, and we both go to it.
Could be. I don't. Well, maybe it's because the movie, is fairly recent.
Yeah, it's still coming. Yeah.
Hey guys, if you'd like to listen to the rest of this episode, it's available now for all of our patrons. Just go to patreon.com/Scott E. Weinberg. There you can find all of our bonus content, including commentaries, interviews, articles, and more. Thank you for supporting the show, and we'll be back next week with another epic matchup here on Science versus Fiction.